But a recent trend has seen people putting their cats on leads or in a harness to take them for a walk.
Now, the RSPCA has warned owners against doing this. So is it ever OK?
So we're joined by two veterinary nurses who have very different viewpoints. Katie Bowen loves walking a cat Orion on a lead, and he loves it too. And Elle Boden says it can make cats feel stressed and anxious. Morning to both of you.
Morning.
This is difficult because I'm a cat owner and I think you're both right. But Katie, let's start with you. You rescued Orion 2 days old.
Yeah, so I'm a vet nurse and he was brought into where I was working at the time, and so it was my job to hand rear him.
It was actually Battersea,
yeah,
wasn't
it? Yeah, it was.
Thought I'd give it a little name drop there.
Yeah, so he was brought in, so I took him home with his sister and hand-reared him, but because of that, he was going in and out of work with me, daily travels in the car and stuff, and it just meant that he sort of became this very chilled-out little guy that's quite happy.
He really is so chilled out.
But when do you take from that to... Because like when my sister had cats, they'd often be in the car and they go between houses and stuff. But it's a leap from doing that to then taking them out for a walk, isn't it?
So his sister absolutely would not have been of the right temperament to be walking on a lead. She was far more very much like her own personality. So she was just very much wanted to do her own thing, didn't want to have much to do with me, which is fine, you know, despite the fact that they were both hand-reared in exactly the same way. He was very much a mummy's boy, always the most chilled out dude, just like sitting watching what's going on. And so it was just a sort of natural progression, one step at a time.
Because cats don't need to be walked, do they? So what was the reason behind doing it?
It was kind of a personification thing. My dog comes everywhere with me, so you know he's such a chill boy. Why not if he's happy to do so?
Yeah.
And we kind of just went from there, and it was very much step by step. OK, if he likes the harness, then we'll look at putting a lead on him. If he accepts being on a lead, then we'll look at taking him out.
And if you're in a house when a dog and a cat get on, that is the dream, isn't it?
It is. I'm very lucky, very, very lucky that they do all get on.
What sort of reaction do you get when you go out? Do you get anybody raising eyebrows? Has anyone ever said anything to you?
The most common reaction is, oh, my God, it's a cat. That is the thing that I get all the time. And asking what breed he is and things like that. And I wish my cat would do that. And
I mean, he's been up Snowden, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He's been up the top of Snowden. We were on holiday and he did ride most of the way. He did not walk most of it.
How much? 80%?
80 to 90% he walked the rest of the way.
Classic cat behaviour,
he was carried 80
I'll
to 90.
I'll do 20% of
yeah,
this.
Exactly.
You do the other 80%.
You can carry me the rest of the way.
Elle, talk to me about what you think about... No, not this, but, like, the principle of cats on leads, because your big worry is the dogs, isn't it?
Yeah, so obviously Katie is clearly a wonderful owner and so is her cat. But cats aren't like dogs. They're not highly sociable species. They can create lovely bonds, and they do clearly create lovely bonds with their owners, but their main attachment is to their environment, to their territory. So taking them out of that safe space for them can be really stressful.
And would you be more worried about, you know, like Katie's she's a nurse, she knows what she's doing, and people that have cats from, like, a very, very young age, those cats can get socialised, can't they? We had a neighbour, a cat called Antonio, and I remember just walking out once, me and Dee were coming back from, like, being out, and we were like, is that a cat on a lead across the road? And then we just went across, had a conversation. That lady knew what she was doing. Are you worried about, like, people that don't know what they're doing, taking their cats out on the lead and kind of just thinking it as a social media trend?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, as Katie alluded to as well, it all is down to the individual cat as well. We know from experience at Cats Protection, seeing sort of thousands of cats every year, that many of them will find being on a harness and being restrained a stressful experience. However, lovely, is it Orion?
Orion.
Yeah. You know, he might be the exception to the rule and, you know, and be fine with it.
Yeah, because some cats don't like, I mean, even the confinement of a lead or
or
a collar. You know?
Yeah, and that was the first step, was a collar and then a harness and then introducing the lead. And I I very much agree with you that it is very much a case by case.
Yeah.
And very much depends on their
Your cat's like an
personality.
exception to the rule.
I got very lucky with him.
Well, we thought that was inspiration for us because we've got a blind cat. We thought maybe, and this is when she was like really young, maybe she'd like to go on the lead. And 30 seconds later, we were like, she doesn't want to go.
No, not today.
And my lacerated hands tell me that she doesn't want to go on the lead.
What do you make of people who maybe live in a flat and might like to take their cat on a lead? Would you not agree with that?
So again, many cats won't want to go on a lead. So what we would recommend in that case is bringing the outdoors in. And you can do that by providing, and again, it's something we recommend, by providing them with an enrichment box. So you can pop things like twigs, leaves, feathers, obviously making sure that there's nothing toxic to cats in there. But that can stimulate all their senses, and obviously regular play sessions with them as well to keep their lives enriched indoors as well. So there's lots we can do without having to take them out on a lead.
And what about you, Katie? Would you, because obviously you don't want to see irresponsible cat ownership, so what would you say to people that were thinking about this? Because it's a big step, isn't it?
Yeah, I would very much say read your cat, and if at any point they're not happy, then you definitely have to reconsider and be... even if you do get to the point where they are happy with a harness or with a lead, taking them outdoors is another big step. And one thing I always say to people when they ask me about it is always have a bag, because much like you said about having a safe zone, that is his safe zone, and that's why we've got it here. If he was a bit worried by what was going on today, I can just pop him in there and he would be quite happy to just sit there and watch what's going on.
I don't think he's worried at all. He's loving life, isn't he? Look at him, surveying the area.
Quite
very rare for a cat. To be happy in this bigger space.
It's very unusual. And so, whenever people ask me about it, I'm always like, he is special, I suppose.
Also, he's conditioned, right?
He is, and he grew up, going out and about, and he did start young, and that's the other thing. If people want to start their cats older, that's when I think they have more of a problem. If they are thinking about it, if you start introducing it when they're a kitten, then it can sometimes be more successful.
Thanks to you two.
Katie, Elle, thanks so much for joining us.
Really
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.